Hey guys, welcome to Solving with Inequalities. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be solving equations like we've been doing for the past week, only this time we're going to have inequalities in there. So if you look down at my anchor chart right here, which this is also attached in the notes, and you'll be able to refer to it whenever you need to, and I encourage you to refer to it often. So we have an inequality. We have less than, we have greater than, and we have less than equal to, greater than equal to, and then all the ways you might see it written. Also, we show you how that you would graph it. So if you have a less than or a greater than symbol, you will use a circle, because if something is less than 7, it does not equal 7. Down here, we have a dot. So something is less than and equal to, it will include that number, so we do a dot. Now, your teacher might refer to it in a different way. I don't know. I always just say a circle or a dot. But whatever, you do whatever works for you, because the important thing is that you put the appropriate symbol on a graph. So moving on, we also have all the forms here, and you're going to see the word inequality notation often. What that means is that you're going to write an answer like this. Sometimes I'll get a student that'll do the whole assignment and then they'll say the answer is 7. Well, with an inequality, if the actual answer is x is less than 7, the answer is not 7. It's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way to infinity. So it's important that when it says to write your answer in an inequality notation, that you write it complete. X is less than 7 or greater than 7, or whatever the notation is. I think that's about all that I have to say about these notes. You don't have to worry about interval notation on anything, so you'll do that in Algebra 2, so don't worry about it. Okay, let's move on to the first problem. I'm going to solve this like I always solve it, and then we'll see what happens. I'll also show you what happens, how we graph it, okay? So I'm going to do -4, -4. That's like always. I bring everything down. Now I'm going to divide by 10. And I have x is less than equal to a -6. Now, when you're graphing these, I want to show you the minimum that you need to do. You don't need to do a whole bunch of numbers on the graph. So in this particular one, I have a -6. So I'm going to put a little line on the graph, and I'm going to put a -6. And then if I have the variable on the left-hand side, which is how you should always finish out an equation or an inequality, with the variable on the left-hand side, the inequality will point the way for you. So this is pointing to the left. So I'm going to go to the left. And because of the equal sign, this is actually going to be a dot. So x is less than equal to -6. You can see how I graphed it. That's all you need to do. Now I'm going to go ahead and solve the next one. It has distributive properties, so I'm going to start with that. I have -2 times m, so that's a -2m, and I have -2 times a -4. Note that. That is a +8, less than equal to 18. So now I'm going to work through solving this. -2m is less than equal to 10. Okay. The next step I make is it's an important step, and it's a required step, and it's this step that a lot of students forget, and then they get the answer wrong. I am about to divide with a negative. If you divide or multiply with a negative, it will flip the sign. So watch, let me show you what I'm talking about. Coming on back down here, I'm going to divide by -2 and -2. So I end up with an m, and I end up with a -5. But the original symbol is less than equal to. I'm going to flip it, and now it's going to say greater than equal to. That is a super important step. Make sure you pay attention when you have to do that. So I'm going to put a little line. I'm going to put a -5. That is the only number I really need to have on here, just letting you know. If you want to put more numbers on there because it makes you more comfortable, feel free to do that. It is a greater than equal symbol. It's pointing to the right. So I'm going to put a dot and I'm going to point it to the right. I am now finished. Let's go to the next one. The next one has a fraction, so I want to get rid of that fraction. I'm going to go ahead and clear it immediately. So I'm going to put parentheses around it, -3. I'm going to go ahead and write it on both sides. This cancels 15 minus n. By the way, I am multiplying by a negative. Note, I am multiplying by a negative. If I divide or multiply by a negative, it does what? That's right, it flips the sign. So I have a less than symbol. I'm going to do a greater than symbol. I get -6. Now I'm going to go ahead and subtract 15. This does not say -15. It says minus n. So that 15 is a positive value. So to get rid of it, I'm going to subtract it. -15, -15. I did not multiply or divide by a negative, so we're good, okay? So this is now a -n is greater than -21. All right, pay attention to this next step. Remember, my answer, my variable can't be negative, so I need to get rid of the negative sign in front of it. So I'm going to divide both sides by a negative, -1. But when I divide by a negative, oh my gosh, it's going to make that a positive and it's going to flip the sign. Now, if you're the kid that forgets to flip it both sides, then you're going to be okay on this one, but it's just by sheer luck because I had to flip the sign twice. So I'm going to put a 21 down here, and it's a less than symbol, so I'm going to put a circle there, and I'm going to go to the left because n is less than 21. Let's look at the next one. I actually have a word problem here, so I'm going to have to write what it is. Okay, let's try not to screw this up. The sum, that's adding a number, we'll call the number x. So, and you can call it whatever you want. So I'm going to call it x and 5. So I know sum is adding, so I'm going to put x and 5. Divided by 3, okay, divided by 3 is a minimum of 4. Is a minimum of 4. Is that going to be less than, greater than? I'm not really sure. Let's look up here. I'm going to come back up to my anchor chart. Is a minimum of, oh, look, it's going to be the symbol greater than, equal to. So I'm going to come back down here, and I'm going to say greater than, equal to 4. The sum of n and 5 is a minimum of 4. So it could be 4, or it could be more than 4. If I tell you you're going to come over and you're going to mow my lawn, and I'm like, yes. And I tell you, I will give you a minimum of $10. That means even if you do a really bad job, I'm going to give you the $10, but I might give you more than $10 if you do a great job. Sometimes with these symbols, if you struggle and you don't have the anchor chart to look at, think about money, because sometimes that just helps you understand. Put yourself in the situation. Sometimes it just helps you understand the terminology. All right. Now I have an equation. I still have to solve it. So I'm going to get rid of that 3. By multiplying both sides, this clears the fraction. X plus 5 is greater than, equal to 12. Now I didn't multiply with a negative, so I don't flip anything. -5, whoops, -5 minus 5. Again, I'm not multiplying or dividing by negative, so nothing changes. I'm going to write it off to the side because I wrote too big, and I apologize. I'm kind of a sloppy writer. So I have this cancels. So I have x is greater than, whoops, just a 7. All right, x is greater than 7, and I'm done. So I'm going to put a little line here. I'm going to put a 7 down there. It's greater than, it's pointing to the right. So I'm going to, oh, it's a circle. And I'm going to go to the right with that. X is greater than 7. So it's not 7, but it's something greater than 7, like 8, 9, 10, 11. Moving on. Oh, some more word problems. Oh boy, we just want to give you this as often as we can, give you this turnaround word, because unfortunately it will be for some of you, it will be your downfall on the next test. Okay. Lesson is a turnaround, which means whatever is in front of the word lesson will actually behind it. So I put a minus sign and I put a 7 behind it. So what's in front of it? Twice a number. Twice a number, we'll call it x, is no more than 9. Is no more than? Well, what does that mean? I'm going to come back up to my anchor chart. Is no more than. Is no more than. Oh, look, less than equal to. Less than equal to. So 7, so this is no more than. So it could be 9. If I tell you you're going to come to my house and you're like, hey, can I mow your lawn? And I tell you, yes, but I will pay you no more than $10. Some of you would look at the size of my lawn and say, forget it. And some of you would be like, okay, I'll do it. But I'm not going to pay you more than $10. So the 2x minus 7 is less than or equal to that. Okay, here we go. We're going to add 7 to both sides. I get a 16. Nothing flips. I divide both sides by 2. It's not negative, so nothing flips. Now, again, I don't have a graph, so I'm going to show you the expectation. It says sketch a graph. Sketch a graph. So I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to put a line there. I'm going to put an 8 below it. It's going to be a dot because it's less than or equal to. It's going to go to the left because that's the way it's pointing. All right, let's look at the next one. 1/3 of a number. Again, that's x. So 1/3 x increased, that's addition, by 4 is greater than. I love that. Now that goes back to elementary school. You'll remember that if it just says greater than or less than. Is greater than a -2. So now I'm going to solve it. -6. I didn't multiply or divide by negative. I subtracted, but I didn't multiply or divide, so don't flip it. 1/3 x. Now I can clear this fraction by multiplying both sides by 3. X, and it is not a negative, so I don't flip anything, is greater than -18. All right, let's draw the graph. I put an 18 right there. It's a greater than symbol, so it's a circle. It's pointing to the right because it says that x is greater than 18. So it could be 19, 20, 21. All right, that's all the thinking you have to do with that. You want to put arrows on it. Both. It doesn't really matter. I'm not really picky. I don't think your teacher will be picky either, but just pay attention. I hope this makes sense to you. I hope this is helpful. I hope that you wrote all of these examples in your spiral, and have a wonderful day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.